It's occurred to me that our kind of habit of talking about someone so nicely, remembering who they are and what they mean to us after they're dead, whenever it's funeral time or whenever it's memorial time, it's too late. Like, the point is that that person was so significant to us and so meaningful. Why wouldn't we just tell them that? We should tell them now while they're breathing. And I've been thinking about that kind of thing for my own family and telling our story for my parents and what they mean to me, specifically for my dad. I think it's really significant, the kind of things that my dad taught me. And if I had to pick 4 main things, it'd be humility, hard work, adventure, and patience. And he kind of summed that up for me in a 2-word phrase that's come to be like a life mantra for me. And that's settle in. This is kind of the backstory to settle in. A number of years ago, I'm guessing something like 2013, 2012, something like that, I called him. And these calls had become something of a regular habit for me because as I grew into a young man, he became a sounding board for me. Hey, Dad, what should I do about this? Hey, Dad, what should I do about that job thing? Should I go buy this car? Should I go in this direction or not? Dad, I have this problem with a relationship. And for anybody who knows me, you know I'm restless by nature. I'm unable to sit still and motionless. And that's both literal and metaphorical. Like, I literally need to be moving and I metaphorically need to feel like I'm moving. I want to be starting a new project, learning a new thing, exploring a new place, moving in a new direction. And this call to my dad at this one particular time was especially aimless. And after my dad patiently listened to my meanderings and my lack of direction, he said 2 words that changed my life. He said, I think you need to settle in. These words were powerful, and they continue to be powerful. This man knows me, raised me, adventured with me, served me my entire life, and then has just listened to me spew aimless ideas and wanderings and silly concerns for 30 minutes. So those weren't token words just thrown out for any other reason besides love. Because he knows me so well, he has all the context he needs to direct me with just a couple of words. And that direction was to push me into the deepest and most consequential things in life. It was a call to root myself in what's worthwhile, to search less, to move with more intention, to grow up, to mean what I say, to focus on any one thing long enough to get really good at it. And even though I have continued to kind of wander and do new things and explore new ideas and try new adventures, I think the beauty of Settle In is that it continues to be applicable. It continues to apply to the most meaningful relationships in my life with my family, my wife, my good friends, even people at work that I really can't avoid. Like, some of these things we can't avoid, we have to just settle into them, not just make the best of it. We have to do everything we can to grow and improve and speak up and love these people really well. I think Settle In was an intention for me to not always think that the grass is greener, to not always think that the newest thing is the best, to not always need to change a job or to move to a new place or to start a new habit. It's a call to forget the reset button for a while. And it's a call to reality. It's a call to be accountable for your own life and what you've built to this point. It's not about you finding a new thing. It's about you becoming and creating what you want and what's best for the people around you. Settle in was a phrase that lived in my phone and on different notes and came back to me in difficult times for years and years. And then I realized that I wanted some more concrete reminders than that. So I got a couple of knives. So this is my knife. I got a matching one for my dad. This is a ProTech Calmigo. And so I had them put Settle In on these knives so that he and I could both have them. And whenever I see it, then it's also rooting me into that truth. I also kept getting these ads from this company called Oxford Pennant on Instagram. And so I decided that it would be really cool if I could somehow take Settle In and take some of the things that remind me of my dad in other ways and kind of merge those together. And so Oxford Pennant will sell you like these kind of banner flags and pennants and things that are cool, but you can also custom design one. And so my dad used to do desert racing, like point to point or different loops, desert racing back in the 70s and 80s on dirt bikes. And so this was a huge passion of his. He still loves motorcycles, but it was just such a big deal to him. And those are a lot of the images I still have of him because I think it's an interesting thing to see old photos and hear old stories of your parents in their prime, because you're like, this is dad unleashed. This is like dad without any restrictions. What would he want to do with his time? This is it. He would want to race. So I contacted the people at Oxford Pennant and said, hey, can we do something that basically looks like this old picture of my dad that I have of him doing a wheelie on his Husqvarna and put some desert landscape in the back and put his number on it and put Settle In. So this is what they came up with. It's awesome. I also paid a little bit extra so I could have the rights to have this design to then do whatever I want with it. But I love it. I love the vibe of it because it's kind of like retro, and the time that he was racing was 70s and 80s, which by now is a little bit retro. And I just think it's really cool, and it's a cool reminder. So this is going to go up in the studio here somewhere. I got to find the right spot for it. But this is a significant thing, and it's significant that I share this and then I get this out there, and how impactful it's been for me while he's still alive. So Dad, if you watch this, I love you and I appreciate you so much. All the loving and serving that you've done for me and for our family all this time. It's huge. And I doubt you even remember that conversation. There was so many of those conversations. I doubt that this one stood out in a particular way that you remember even saying that. But like I said, it was a way of compiling all the context and the understanding that you have of me to give me that word of knowledge that I needed. Thank you. I don't know what else I might do with Settle In. I think it'll end up being kind of part of what this YouTube channel means, because it's part of me. It's part of what it means for me to be honest to myself and to remember what I need to remember. And so it's a huge deal to me. I can't put that on anyone else. Like, obviously that's my own experience, so it doesn't automatically mean that Settle In is significant to anyone else. But I think it's a kind of mantra that can also be timely for nowadays. We have a lot of scattered thoughts. We're very distracted as a people. Anyone in a first world nation, I would think, very unhappy or more depressed than ever. And I think a lot of that is an aimlessness that we have. We're constantly looking for a new thing or a new way of being entertained or satiated, and those things continue to let us down. And so I think it potentially could be significant to other people too, to tell yourself and to remember to settle in, because maybe the good old days are right now. Maybe this is an actual great time if we take the time to pay attention to what's in front of us, the people that we have in our life, the bodies that we have that still work, the adventures that we can still go on. Even if it's not quite in the form that we expected at this stage, or it looks differently than what we expected, that doesn't mean it's not good. And that doesn't mean it's not an amazing gift. So keep an eye out for more Settle In kind of mentions in videos in the future, potentially some branding things that have Settle In worked into it. I wanted people to have the kind of backstory of what Settle In means and what it means to me.